Hey guys, the BearsFan06 here, and today I have for you the fighter breakdown for Rome for the holidays. This video is solely my opinion on this event's current fighters, so let's get down to it and talk about it. Some of the fighters I don't have comparisons for. The reason why is some of them are slightly special on their own, makes them different and difficult to compare. But the first one we're going to talk about is KiK Id. KiK Id is similar to a fighter we got in a recent event. Unfortunately, he is Sting with one cooldown, which is kind of disappointing. He uses his agility as attack against one enemy, so it's a single target, and unfortunately with a one cooldown, he won't be worth too much money. He's okay for beginners. For intermediate and advanced players, he's not very good. But let's go ahead and compare him to the first fighter here. We're comparing him to Paporius, the flying dude. He's basically the same thing, just not as good. Paporius isn't worth too much money anymore because he's just not that good for really much of anything, to be honest. KiK Id has worse stats in every category: minus 135 HP, minus 210 attack, minus 71 defense, minus 44 wisdom, and minus 218 agility. So overall, he's not as good as the other guy who's been out, and honestly, I haven't really ever came across this guy while PvPing or anything. So this fighter is pretty much kind of worthless, guys, unfortunately. Sorry. Good news is he's agility and attack fodder because he'll be cheap, so you have that at least. Let's move on to the next one. Next one is Bas Gunk. Bas Gunk is a little special. He's really just attack fodder, guys. There's not much use for him, except in this dungeon on level 4 on the missions 1 through 15. His high wisdom helps him protect against thwart. The thwart guys are really strong in the Earth dungeon. His high wisdom and having 800% boost helps a ton, so that's definitely useful currently during this edge bonus. I did find somewhat of a comparison for you guys with them. It's not the best comparison, but I'll show it to you here. The best thing I could come up was comparing him to KiK Id. It's the best thing I could find. I wasn't going to compare him, but I figured I at least should do it just so we have at least the heroes compared. He's better in every category in KiK Id. KiK Id has Grim All. He has Grim Single Target. Now Grim All has a massive cooldown on KiK Id. KiK Id is really not worth much of anything. He's a pretty bad fighter. But Bas Gunk has 438 more HP, 997 more attack, 216 more defense, 946 more wisdom, 290 more agility. This guy is wisdom and attack fodder, to be honest with you. He's not even going to be very good for beginner players. Intermediate and advanced, he's solely fodder. Really, if you want to use him as super fuse or trade fodder, one or the other. But for beginner players, he's not very good either. Main reason why is his defense and HP. He's going to get smacked in the face. He's just going to die pretty easy. The only thing he's good for is magical damage, protecting against it, really. So not much to this one, guys. Next we have Red Cool. This guy is sweet looking. I really like his look. He's another recolor. We've had 2 recolors so far already, and the third one is below. But Red Cool, unfortunately, guys, another bad fighter. He's really just HP fodder. I did find a comparison for him, so I'll show you, and you'll see why he's really not that great of a fighter. So I compare him to Bronze Nail. Bronze Nail is definitely a good beginner slash intermediate fighter. Bronze Nail is overall pretty good. He has high attack, high HP, which is nice. I mean, as we know, Bronze Nail is not very expensive, though. As we can see, Red Cool has basically the same exact setup, except he has elite, Scourge versus adept, but his stats are all lacking: minus 271 HP, minus 227 attack, minus 117 defense, minus 26 wisdom, minus 87 agility. Overall, I mean, he's okay for beginner players. Intermediate and advanced, really, again, this guy's HP and attack fodder. He's not going to be super expensive, but he's okay for beginners. I mean, he could be worse, but for beginners, as a beginner, I would like to have this fighter. This is the first fighter that I actually would pick up as a newer player out of the first 3 so far, because he's definitely, in my opinion, the best of the first 3. And now let's go to Issa, Mano recolor. So this is the first 4 fighters. The hero fighters have all been recolors except for the first one. This fighter is a good attack fodder. he's basically just like Helio Trooper, so let's compare him to him. So as you can see here, he's pretty much almost the same thing as Helio, except he's water versus earth, and he's a different type. But Drench versus Smash, Helio has a longer cooldown. They're both elite, but stats wise they're really close. Issa is slightly not as good as stats, but his better cooldown. His one less cooldown makes him better for sure. Minus 56 HP, minus 78 attack, minus 14 defense, minus 47 wisdom, minus 24 agility. So it's really close. Beginner players, he's an okay fighter. I mean, he's not the best, but he's okay. For intermediate and advanced players, another fodder fighter, unfortunately, guys. Most of the intermediate and advanced for hero fighters are all fodder, typically. There has been a few really good ones. Unfortunately, this event, not so much. These guys are really all just basically fodder for the most part. They're not very good, unfortunately, which is slightly depressing. I was hoping to be good, but as we know, all hero fighters are good for the edge bonus for the dungeon, and then typically they're just fodder. Now for the next couple, I don't have any comparison for these next couple. The first one we're going to talk about is Braz's mount, Tuser. This guy is not too bad. You know, I guess I could show his non edge bonus stats. Give me a second. All right, so here's his non-edge stats. HP 3,766, attack 4258, defense, which is insane, 7720. If you need defensive fodder, this dude is ridiculous. If you want something amazing, 7720 is crazy. Wisdom 386, agility 329. This dude's a big tank. If you wanted a tank fighter, this would be him. What I would do is I'd probably super fuse him with some HP versus defense, because he already's got bulk. I would just get some HP on this guy. Overall, you want a defensive fighter, I would definitely go for this guy right now currently. That defensive is amazing. His spell is based off his attack, so now he'll do damage based on that, but his HP, that's the only thing that's slightly lacking. I would super fuse him with HP, and he'd be a pretty defensive guy, especially during edge bonus dungeons for him. But this guy's not too bad. Beginner, intermediate, and advanced fighters could all use him. For everyone could use him as defensive fodder. Only thing is, advanced players, basically, if you want a defensive fighter, this would be a good one to go with. By no means is this guy garbage, so I do like him being a defensive as well. Am I going to get one? Maybe. It depends on the price. If he's fairly cheap, I might get him. If he's expensive, I'll probably pass and just sell the ones I have. But this guy's not bad, guys. Plus, he looks cool. Next, the one that everyone likes this event. If you don't like this guy, I don't know what's wrong with you. Let's just call him Confectionary, like the sugar, because I'm not even trying to pronounce that name. So Confectionary is he's like a guru, basically, with preempt skill, so which is nice. So he goes first. Him and preempt fighters, basically whoever has the higher agility will typically go first in that case. His spell is based off wisdom, as you can tell right here. He has great speed, he has great wisdom. The only downside to this fighter, and it's just one downside, is it's thwart single target and not all. If it was all, boy oh boy would I definitely want him. For beginner, intermediate, advanced players, solid guy. If you can afford him as a beginner player, I would get 5 out of 5. If you can't afford it, I'd honestly probably, if you can't afford a 5 out of 5, I would just sell him and get some money out of him, because he's gonna be fairly expensive, probably at first too. So let's pull up his non-edge stats though. Alright, so I just remembered I said one thing that was completely sounded dumb. I said he's like a guru but with preempt. He is a guru. He's like a rogue with preempt, but he's a guru and does wisdom damage for his spell versus attack damage. I wanted to elaborate on that. I had a brain fart there. So I've also been doing this editing for quite some time now, for well over an hour. So brain fart, yes. He's like a rogue, but he's a guru that does preempt, that's wisdom based, not attack based like rogues and preempt. So anyways, HP 1,876. Kind of on the low side, but typically most preempt, in quotation, fighters, because I know he's thwart, but he's basically like preempt, typically don't have too high of HP. Attack doesn't matter, 1096. Once he's 5 out of 5, he'll never use that attack. Doesn't matter. Defensive, kind of sad, 1282. He takes a physical hit from a preempt rogue. He will die. With the low HP and the low defense, he is dead for sure. Now here's where he's awesome. Wisdom, 50-55. A nice chunk of wisdom. His agility, 63-33, which is awesome. That's amazing. If this guy was thwart all, I would be all over him and he'd be worth a fortune. Unfortunately, he's not, and he's thwart single target. Awesome thing though is, from what I can tell in Wiki, none of the other thwart single targets had a 0 cooldown, so this is a first, which makes him awesome. This guy will be expensive. I cannot foresee him being cheap. I foresee him being expensive. I kind of want one, but I don't know if I want to dish out the money for it. If for somehow I could clear the mission 15 and get 3 of the epics, which I know I'm not going to be able to, I would totally get one, having a halfway there, but unfortunately I won't. I probably will be selling mine for the money because he's going to be expensive. But this guy clearly, in my opinion, is the winner, barring the last 2 fighters, what their abilities actually do, which we'll get into later. But so far, this guy is the clear winner so far, easily, hands down. Now, it's also very hard, this dungeon, so don't take it lightly. It's not going to be easy. Let's go on to the next one. This guy. I don't even know what to tell you with this guy. This guy is horrible. I'm pretty mad he's in the fire dungeon. I don't think he's going to be worth like much more than a couple bitters. He just doesn't make sense. This guy doesn't make sense. He's low defensive, but his spell is based on physical attacks that hit him. So he has low HP, he's low defense, but his spell counter is after he gets hit with a physical attack, he attacks back. That makes no sense. Why he should have HP and defense for that ability? He's gonna get smacked in. Oh, you bitch. Anyways, after the blue stacks crash, back to him. Forgot where he's leaving off. But anyways, let's go view what his base stats are. So his base stats: 3879 HP, attack 4890, defensive 1282. Really. Wisdom 4462, agility 852. So this makes no sense at all. It's just so low and so bad, and his ability is he gets hit and then he counters back, so he's just gonna die. Honestly, this guy seems really pointless for anyone. I mean, beginner players, I guess you could use him, but I would just use him for attack or wisdom fodder. Just because his spell and his stat combination just don't make sense. I don't know. So we're gonna move on. All right. So next is Tiphelia. Let's go with that. This is probably also tied for first place as the best fighter in this group. Let's just move on to the comparison right away because this is a really good fight. So, Tiphelia is a recolor of Zuku, the exploding guy. Disregard this numbers here. For some reason it moved on me. I don't know why. But anyways, a lot of people were telling me this is like the new Glacier Walker, which I don't disagree with you because it obviously is water. But it's way better than Glacier Walker. And it's just as good as the Witch. As you can see, it has 12 more HP, 9 more attack, 2 more defense, 24 more wisdom, 30 more agility. Now this doesn't mean the Witch is obsolete or crappy or bad or anything. It would mean that if it was the same element, but it's not. It's a different element. It is always good to mix it up and not have basically all the same element of fighters. Having different elements and stuff like that of top tier fighters is always a good to have, a good mix of it. This fighter is just as good as the Witch. This fighter is going to be expensive. It's good. It's basically an auto proc guru, single target STG. It's just amazing. It's just as good as the Witch. I really love the Witch. I have a Witch, a 5 out of 5. Do I want this guy? Possibly. I know it's going to be expensive. I don't use my gurus too much, so I don't see me buying one. But this fighter is good for everyone, hands down, good for everyone. beginner fighters or beginner players, if you can't afford to get a 5 out of 5, it's not very good unless it's 5 out of 5. I would suggest selling it and using the bidders towards purchasing fighters that you can afford that'll help you get better. But this fighter is great all around, hands down tied with the Thwart fighter for first place in this event so far. It's really hard to tell. Let's move on here to the last two, because these two are going to also be high-end fighters as well. So we got Santa Claus and we got Mrs. Claus. Santa Claus, I have something to compare to. Mrs. Claus, I do not. Let's do Santa Claus first. So Santa Claus appears to be similar to Baz. Now we all know Baz is really good. Santa Claus stats distribution, minus 57 HP, minus 69 attack, minus 35 defense, minus 9 wisdom, minus 12 agility. So he is really close to Baz. Now we don't know what his ability is going to do, what the multiplier is like. Hopefully it's just as good as Baz. They are making him kind of easier to get. They're giving a lot out. Does that mean that his ability is just going to be a glorified smash all? Probably. But this fighter could be good. Could be good. We all know Baz is good. Stat comparison really close. Spell comparison seems to be close. So we just gotta wait on this one, guys. This could be a good one too. So there's a potential to be, my opinion, really 4 really good fighters in this event, and this being one of them. But not much else to say. Looks like Baz, smells like Baz. Is it Baz? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Lastly, we have Mrs. Claus. So Mrs. Claus is fairly interesting. She's the first cooldown of one cooldown of Warlocks that has an all attack. So it's an all attack with a 1 cooldown. That's a first. Her main issue is her low agility and low HP. Just destroy her. She still could potentially be good. There is a vote on Facebook to increase the base rate in the Christmas build. So go vote, go like their picture there to help increase that, guys. But 988 agility, she basically gets outsped by everyone. With her low HP, she's gonna die fairly quick and easy. She has potential to be good. She's potential to be a really good Warlock. We just gotta wait and see. Hopefully she turns out to be pretty good. But she's riding that tree from the last time. Now we know why that tree was arched forward. He was tired of her on his back the whole time, so he kicked her ass out. That's why his back was arched. But anyways, that's it for this one, though, guys. Santa Claus, I think, is definitely the winner over her, in my opinion. First couple guys, let's go here again. Not very good, unfortunately, guys. The 1 cooldown kills him. This guy, I mean, these are all just fodder. If I had to pick one out of the 4, I would go with this guy here because he's close to Bronze Nail. I think that's probably your best out of the first 4. Out of the next 4, you got 2 amazing ones. You got Confectionary, and you have Zuku Recolor. Both are amazing. This guy is completely worthless, and I'm drawing question marks in my head because I don't understand. And then we got the defensive tank here, Baz's mount, which is awesome. I think he's cool looking, so we got that dude. And then we got Mr. and Mrs. Claus. I would say Mr. Claus wins, and she comes in second. But he's pretty beastly. I hope his ability is as good as Baz. That'd be awesome. I know we approached 19 minutes, guys, so thanks for watching. Hope you stuck through the whole video. I know you guys really like the fighter breakdown. This was very long because there was a lot of fighters, but don't forget to like, subscribe, favorite, and share this video. It helps me out. Thank you guys so much. Stay tuned for some more videos.